Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, so this is about synchronicity as well, and those things happen so wonderfully. So usually when of course uploading the videos, it's best that I turn the light off so I can see the screen better. It's not affecting my eye. And then I also thought, well, with the affirmation that I am making, and when I say let there be light, by anchoring onto the words of the said God, why not just have it all in sync, and it's working so beautifully. Now that's the subject that I am talking about right now. So if you are joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we are all about actualizing self-full love, but that is with the insights of scriptural references from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. We use that version of the Holy Bible because it is one that is of a mathematical construct, and considering the fact that we now all agree that we are on a mathematical world, or our earth or everything is mathematical, I felt that it was really important to pursue understanding the construct of our world more. So through numerology, of course, I have now really embarked on all these wonderful insights of let there be light. I realize I have gone like done a circle on this intro, but this is really I take comfort in thinking, it's okay. Everything is just all right, because we are doing the serpent wisdom right here on the Crimey Queen channel. Because the serpent, we just don't know, like they say, you never know when it's going to strike, and so we are going with the flow, and we are going with whether it takes us in and out, it is all right, because now we are accepting that everything is of in and out, and it's of that flow. And if we, like the serpent, Mother Eve, Satan, Saturn, has really informed us, if we follow her path, even if it may seem that we are going through some dark tunnels, she is going to bring us safely onto the other side. The other side, of course, is that we usually dread. When we hear of the other side, we think of death. Now, that may not be such a bad thing in a sense, because what Mother Eve is really requiring or requesting of us, and to do this on a voluntary basis, of course, is to die of certain things, is to die of the addictions that no longer serve us, to die of habits, and to die of thoughts that does not inspire or does not render life to our evolution. So basically, death is not so bad in that sense. And of course, it is usually the fear of the unknown that we all face in that context of our makeup. But Mother Eve is asking us to trust her. Like in Jungle Book, she says, trust in me, trust in me. Now, or something, go to sleep. So she's going to sedate us. Put it this way, she's going to sedate us when our fear is at a certain peak, that we feel, well, I'm gonna die. And that's what we do anyway, in most cases of forming a cycle. In fact, our cycles are many deaths. Hey, I'm calling on Mother Eve right now. We are meant to be doing the word there, but that is what Mother Eve does. So Mother Eve is saying now, the death that we are often scared of that is what we do in each cycle. At the end of a sentence, there's a death. The end of a word is a death. The end of a breath is a death. And she is saying is all those many deaths are actually forming the foundation of that which gives life. It turns into the life form to form the other cycle. So basically, the same scenario we have seen, like with Jesus Christ dying, getting buried, and being risen again. This is exactly what we do in each cycle of life. It is life and death. This is what Mother Eve is saying. But talking about life and death, we are now looking at life in the sense of affirmation. So, as in the intro of this presentation, when I said, "Let there be light," and there was light, that was an affirmation that was intuitively given to me after doing the numerical values of some of the words in that third verse of the Holy Bible. There it is, number 3, the third verse of the first chapter. When we add 1 plus 3 together, that gives us 13. Now, to show you, I have done this several times to show this is where in the 13 that's where we plant seeds. That's the beehive. That's where we form agreements. That's where hands are shaken on deals. That's where we give breath, or we say breath or life to our babies as mothers. That's where we breastfeed. That's where we use the 2 sides of our cheeks to sit on a chair. We are connecting, we are making an agreement to rest in our minds. That's where with the 2 B's here, we are getting the 2 sides of our brains working together. This is the beehive. In this section here, this is the section where Christ with his disciples had broken bread and drank of wine. This is the B for bread, and the W would be, of course, part of the B word forming the wine, which is 2. When I say which is 2, I mean 2 3s are 6, because the numerical value for wine is 6. And of course, I might have mentioned this before. This is where the 6 as wine. So basically, that was, when we look at it, we are wine in this sense. We are the wine, and wine is the blood, because Christ said, as often as you do this, breaking of the bread and drinking of the wine, you do this in remembrance of me. So basically, it's that we are taking on the vibration or energy. Blood is energy. We are taking on the blood and vibration on energy of each other. This is where we are doing this mentally, whereas in some cases people are now doing this physically or in a materialistic way. So if one might even call it, or I'm just saying the word realistic in materialistic is also there. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that before. In the word materialistic is the word realistic. And so that means that, again, it's so important to give thought to the makeup of the words, because we could think of it so out there, whereas the word there has in it here. This is being materialistic. Okay, now back to the affirmation that I want to show you. So here we have got, this is where we are doing the word there. Now the word there equals 11. When we add 1 plus 1 as in 11, of course, this is where everything happens. And that's how I got to understand the powerful makeup of that third verse of the Bible, because there we see, as I will show you here. So we were talking about the third verse of the Bible. So it's number 3, and we are talking about the first chapter. So this is where the first chapter and the third verse comes together. And this is where the agreement, once the words are uttered, you are literally anchoring onto the first chapter. Basically, the first chapter constitutes everything that's in that chapter. So you are anchoring onto that first chapter and the third verse of that chapter. So everything is there as though it were your house. That is the chapter, but you are anchoring onto your chair in the house. I hope you get what I'm saying right here. So this is verse 1. Oh, sorry, chapter 1. So it's chapter 1 and verse 3. So when we add these together, it gives us 4. Now, of course, if we put them side by side, it is 1 plus 3, and this is how we add them up together. Now, what we do here, once we have been doing in the motion or the energy or mental application of even just doing this, recognizing we are engaged in it already. We are already marrying the two together. Once we are making a reference of two things, we are already marrying that thing. That is why it is so powerful that we mind our thoughts. Because once we start making comparison with one thing and another, we are already in marriage or marrying the two things we are doing. Hence the power of intuition. Now we really need to rely on Mother Eve, which is the mother, the goddess of wisdom, to guide us to know that which we ought to be marrying. And of course, when we do that, we will find the gem in there. So once we are marrying, we are already forming a bond with that. The bond here is, as I say, it becomes the breast, it becomes the wisdom tooth, it becomes the buttocks, it becomes agreement. So when you are doing your affirmation, for instance, be clear in your mind that you are thinking clearly or rightly. When we say rightly, that which gives life, that which evolves, that which is with purpose. So for instance here, I am wanting to do these series of teachings to help us, and in that us is 31, actually, the word us, which is the reverse to 13. So us, US, is 31. Let's do it right here. So US is 3 plus 1. That's US. So, of course, that equals 4. Now, 4, before I move on, to really show you how 4 is worked out. So we are clear. Basically, your affirmations become your foundation. It's your spiritual wow. you are applying okay, it's your spiritual gel. It's your spiritual gel for your poles that you are putting in place. When you are implementing something, you are affirming that thing which you want to implement into motion. And that is very important for us to note. So 4 becomes 4, the 13 we are talking about, comes right here under this column of number 2. This is the part where we are forming agreements. This is the part where we are shaking hands, we are breastfeeding, we are nurturing, we are loving, we are marrying, we are smiling. And actually, after it's very important that we smile at the end of that affirmation, which I must, in fact, I am wanting to remember to do. But more on this affirmation, do join me again. There is much more. This affirmation may have to go in several parts, but it doesn't mean that you can't begin to apply it. It's really, as I have done in part 1, I have given the whole thing in part 1, is that it's a 1, 2, 3 step. It's a 1, 2, 3 step. You say, let there be light, and there was light. You can also say, let there be light, and there be light, which has the same numerical value, but the word be is of 2 letters, and the word was is of 3 letters. When we add 2 plus 3 together, we are doing Mother Eve number 5. So I feel that it's whether we want to be creative with it. I'm not saying that it would be any less effective, because I believe our uniqueness have to come into motion of this. But be specific in what you are doing your affirmation on. In that sense, let there be light. Into it with focus, and there was light. And if it were, as I say, with my with what I am now explaining, because I would really like you to share the essence of this, and I would say, well, this we are doing the sacrifice template. Let there be light, and there was light. And then blow or breathe. This is the what gives life, is the breath, and breathe 11 times into that which you want to come about. This is a very powerful affirmation, because the number 11, when we do 11, it equals 9, and when we do 9, it equals 6. That means it is going to the universe, and it's coming back. It's coming back to resonate with that 6 which you and I are. Including myself here, of course. Always see ourselves in it, because the word there. So basically, when we do the word there, or you send it out, don't be too perturbed about it, because you are still connected here. Now do join me again for the 3rd part of the most powerful affirmation. No one had told you this before, but Mother Eve has asked me to, in fact, I did ask Mother Eve, should I share this with the world now? Am I ready? Are we ready to share this with the world? And the answer is yes. And that gives me great joy to share this wonderful affirmation with you. So let there be light in what I am saying to you right now. I have blow twice, so 2 is actually 4, which goes down into that same, which I call the incubation, of course, but 4, 11, and of course, depending where you are, use it to how spirit guides you, because intuition is key. Thank you. Do share, like and subscribe, and of course give us a thumbs up